Hello everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.wordpress.com, and today I'm doing a tutorial for Splitcoaststampers, and we're making this curved sided box with a fold over lid. And as you can see, I've used the Dragonfly Dreams die cuts and a lovely new stamp set which is available from the 1st of June, which is called Daisy Delight, to create these flowers around the sides. So to make the box then, the first thing you're going to need to do is cut a piece of cardstock to 29.5 by 21 centimetres, and once you've done that you're going to be scoring it. Now I'm using my Stampin' Up trimmer here, and the first score is on the short edge, and that's at 3.5 centimetres, and the second one is at 14 centimetres. Now once you've done that, if you take out your extender and turn it so that the larger section is at the top, and you're going to do several score lines, but you're just going to score to the first line only. I'll just move my ink pads out of the way. Okay, so if you score at 3.5 centimetres, just down to the first score line, at 10.5 centimetres, again first score line, at 17.5 centimetres, and at 24.5 centimetres, and then you're going to score all the way down to the bottom at 28 centimetres, so all the way top to bottom. Then rotate your cardstock so that the smaller section is at the top. And now you're going to score that smaller section at 8.5 centimetres, again just to the first section, at 15.5 and at 22.5. So pop your trimmer away. Now you're going to need I've used a die, but something that's about 2 3/4 inches or 7 centimetres in diameter, and you need an embossing tool. And what you need to do is just set that so that it just touches the top and the two sidelines, and I'm just scoring round with an embossing tool, and you do that on all 4 of those short sections. And I'm using an embossing tool because obviously that way you're not going to get the pen marks. I'm just going to cut stuff to this slightly to the outside edge of those. So put that to one side, and you're literally just going to trim around those score lines. Obviously I'm doing these quite quickly here for the video, but just I find it easier to do all of those 4 curves away first and then come back and do the others. And when you get to the end, you're just going to cut away that skinny little bit up at the side. So again, come in here, now obviously if you're accurate, you could use a scalpel and cut those curves around the die if you like. So you'll end up with a piece of card that looks like this. Now the next thing you're going to need is a little bit more unusual, not normally found in your craft room, but you're going to need a 10.5 inch plate. So 10.5 inches is around about 26, just check, 26.5 centimetres. And you're going to line up your plate with the where those score lines meet, and this bottom one here, and just score. And I don't come all the way down because obviously you don't want the curve, you want it to sort of join just at the bottom. So do that all the way along. Just move your plate and literally just score. You'll see it just joins at the bottom there. I'm pressing quite firmly because it's a curve. It's a little bit more, you're not going to be able to get a bone folder in there to do it. So I'm using quite a narrow embossing tool and pressing fairly firmly. And the last one here then just find our middle point and on the end again. Okay, so that's our scoring with our plate done. And obviously if you've got a die cutting machine, that, you know, a die cutting machine, you can cut a circle and make yourself a template as well. So having created our curved template, all I'm going to do is actually to give myself, I'm just going to score that bottom line. We're going to cut up here, and I'm going to stamp across the centre of this with these new dies. Now these are two-step stamps, and so I'm coming in with the first, which is the leaves, and this is some wild wasabi ink, and in these central sections I'm just going to stamp the stems. To take my bracelet off, sorry, that's making a bit of a clatter. Okay, so having done our stems, I'm going to come in and do my single stem up the centre as well. And obviously you can stamp whatever stamp set you happen to have. I just thought this was lovely with the two-step stamping that we've got. And then having stamped our stems, I'm going to come in with the flowers, and here I'm using some Perfect Plum because I felt this looked rather like lavender, and so I came up with that. So these then just line up with the tops of those stems, and you don't have to be incredibly, they don't have to be perfect. I would normally take a little bit more time with these, and I'd actually stand right over, but I'm sure you don't need a headshot of my hair over the top of while I'm trying to line up. So once we've stamped our flower heads, I'm going to come in with another new colour, and this is the new Berry Burst, and just come in and do the flowers that line up with this stem again. So the two-step enables you to get lovely flowers, and being photopolymer allows you to line those up. Obviously, as I said, ideally I would come in from the top a little bit to make those a little bit better. And then while I've got my Berry Burst out, I'm then going to just stamp a strip, which is from the Dragonfly Dreams with the sentiment. So it's a 1 centimetre strip, and I just stamp on there, "To a wonderful friend." And then come in with your snips and just cut a little flag at either end. Obviously if you've got a punch, you could use a punch to do this as well, but just make a little flag. And then while we've got that out, I'm just going to add a little bit of wet glue to the reverse of that and pop that onto a strip of 1.5 centimetre Berry Burst cardstock, and just allow that to set and dry. So back to our box construction. Now you've stamped this, I'm going to come in and you're going to cut up on each of those large tabs, and you're just cutting straight up because they're going to overlap at the bottom, like so. Just up to that score line. And then I'm coming in, and this is one of the occasions when I use red tape. So I just use some sticky strip, and on the reverse, this straight edge here, I'm going to put a piece of tape down this far edge and another piece of tape on the short bit at the bottom, rather than one continuous piece. Now we're going to come and we're going to crease all of our score lines. So those top ones are quite straightforward to fold and burnish, because they're nice straight lines. And these ones actually are quite easy to do if you've done a good score line. So you literally just gently crease as you go along, and crease and bend. So as you can see, I'm just creasing there and bending, like so. And just ease that. These are the sort of trickiest ones, but this is why it's important to cut these lines at the bottom first, so that you can actually, you've got a little bit more movement with the card. And that last one, again, just gently pinch those, and then on the end there. And then, having created those creases, we're now going to come in, remove the liner of your red tape. Make sure you've got a good fold on that last one. And what you want to do is line up just the side first. So we're lining up. Like so. I'm just going to fold that back out of the way. So line up our section here. Like so. And then you can line up the tab at the bottom. And once you've done your tab, that is the one with the join is the first one that actually folds in. What I recommend is that you pop your hand inside your box and just make sure that's stuck very well. And then on these 3 flaps, you just need to put a piece of tape on the end of either of those, just to close those up and hold them in place. And this makes a nice secure bottom for your box. So the first one to go in is the one with the join, and then the next ones are going to be your 2 side ones, and this means that our front piece is nice and flat. So take our side ones, like so, and those can just fold in, like so. Pop your hand in to the bottom, and then the last one folds in, and that then gives us our front, which has got a nice seam. And then to close, all you're going to do is just like a normal sort of square box. You fold in 3 flaps, and then the very last one just tucks in like so. And now you're ready to decorate the rest of your box. So I've taken some of the Dragonfly Dreams and die cut them out of glimmer paper. You'll see here, and then I've separated those out. So there's actually 5 dragonflies, so I've cut this a couple of times to create 4 separate little separate dragonflies. And with these, just bend those wings up to give them a little bit of lift. Move that one out of the way, and I've just come in with my marker, and I'm just going to add a little bit of colour to the outside edge of those. Now you could use a sponge dauber or anything else, but it just adds a little bit of interest. And I love sort of the sort of colours of dragonfly wings, which are sort of beautiful pinks and purples and all sorts, and that just edges it slightly. So literally just a brush marker on the end there. That gives us sort of a strongish colour. If you wanted a more subtle one, then a sponge would do fine. And I'm generally using the smaller ones on there. So I've got 3 of my small ones here. My other ones are larger ones. So if I show you how I trim those away. So if I use this top one, I just come in, snip at the bottom there, and on this one just very carefully cut between those 2 wings, and then just neaten those up. And there you have a really pretty, just round the bottom, dragonfly that you can just ink up. And this is a lovely way to get whatever colour glimmer paper you want by using your sponge or a marker. And then to glue those into place, I'm just going to use some Tombow glue and put a little dab on the back of each of those. And what I like to do is leave those to one side, just to allow that glue to set a little bit before I put it on, just so it doesn't slip everywhere. And while those are settling, I'll show you what I've done with the bumblebees. And what I've done is I've stamped the bumblebee from the Dragonfly, Stampin' Up! Dragonfly Dreams, which is this one here. And I've then coloured it in with some crushed curry just on the body on this one. And then used the die that's in the set to cut out our little bumblebee. So that's how we do our bumblebee. And again, I'm going to do the same. Bend the wings up very slightly, like so. Just noticed I've got a couple of little bits that haven't quite punched out. So there we go. And then again, come in with some wet glue just on that nice section. You've got quite a nice big body section there to pop a bit of glue in. And then we can literally come in and add each of our dragonflies to those top corners. Like so. Have the front of our box here, and I can add my bee in like so. And there's our box, and then all we've got left to do is just add our sentiment. And now that that's nice and dry, I can just come in and trim away on either end to give a layered flag, like so. And then I'm just going to use my bone fold you can use, or you can use your fingers, and just bend that back slightly on itself. And then for this, I'm actually going to use my fast fuse just for speed to add a little bit of fuse on the end of both of those flags, and then add, on this occasion, I'm actually going to put it on the front there. So there is my curved sided box, which is an unusual shaped box, using Dragonfly Dreams and the new Delightful Daisy to make a really pretty gift box that actually is quite spacious. As you can see, you could get all sorts of goodies in there. I hope you've enjoyed watching this. Thank you to Splitcoaststampers for allowing me to share this with you, and do come back and see me again soon for some more lovely creative projects. Bye for now.